Hello and welcome into another edition of the Panther Pack podcast. Patrick Shankor with you as always, my good pal, Pedro Caligari. Pedro, how you doing on this early Friday morning?
Very good. Today's a half day, so it's gonna be
and a dress down.
Day. And a dress
down.
Don't forget about that.
Those magical days that get sprinkled in all the time. Before we get started with all of the happenings of the school, just want to remind you guys that we are on all social media channels run by yours truly, so make sure you give us a follow or a like on all of them. If you don't know the usernames by now, you should, because I put up signs all across the building, but if you still don't know the usernames, I'll go one by one. So for Facebook, facebook.com/PioneerCSS. For Twitter, it's @PioneerCSS. Instagram @PioneerCharter, and Snapchat @PioneerCSS. So make sure you give us a like and a follow on all of those accounts so you can see all of the amazing things that I post on a daily basis. With that being said, Pedro, let's toss it over to you for our weekly sports update.
So for sports, the boys have improved to a record of 5-3. Their next game will be Tuesday, October 3rd, against PHA. It's a home game at 4:15 at the Madeline English in Everett. Girls soccer has also improved to a 5-1 record. Their next game is also against PHA on Tuesday, October 3rd at 3 p.m., also a home game. The girls volleyball has improved to a 6-1 record. Their next game is also Tuesday, October 3rd against Salem at 4:15 at home in our gym. And then middle school soccer are off to a 2-0-1 record. Their next game is October 4th against Excel Chelsea at Excel. This is a tough game for them. Excel hasn't lost a game yet, but I believe our middle schoolers can pull it off and win this game.
I do want to say, we mentioned the girls volleyball game last week, had a big game against Foxborough on Monday, which unfortunately they lost in a very close game. We're still an anti-Foxborough podcast here, so we're hopeful that in a potential playoff matchup, our girls can get the best of them because we still don't like Foxborough. That's pretty much the motto of our school.
Yeah, and then for these two soccer games next week, PHA, one of our biggest soccer rivals, especially for the boys. If we can pull off a win against PHA, it would be great because going into the playoffs, PHA knowing that we can beat them is a plus for us.
On a side note, I think it's pretty funny how, like, when I was playing baseball, like, we used to hate collegiate, and like volleyball, we hate Foxborough, soccer, we just basically hate every school besides our own. So
every school is hated in sports except for our own, of course. I mean, yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. So let's shift away from sports because we can talk about rivals all day long. The upcoming international trip over April vacation will be going to Belize this year. If you're interested in getting more information or you want to check out some past information for other trips, talk to Mr. Draper. You can email him at rdraper@pioneercss.org. If you want to see him in person, he is located in the central office, which is 466 Broadway. That's where my office and Pedro's office is as well, if you want to stop by and say hello. Also wanted to give you guys a quick reminder that Panther Gear is now open. If you've been with the school long enough, you know that SIG keeps it open for about 17 hours every year. You have to go on between like 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. with the secret password. I'm just kidding. It'll be open for about 2 to 3 weeks. You can log in with a username and password of Pioneer 2017. The link to get on the website is on our school website and our Facebook page, so you can get it there. And again, the username and password is Pioneer 2017. Make sure, for those of you who don't have Panther gear or you just want to get some new updated gear, to log on and do that before the closing date, which I believe is October 8th, but I'm not 100% sure. So check with the SIG just in case, but I'm pretty confident it's October 8th. Pedro, anything else you wanted to chime in with before we wrap this up?
I mean, to be honest, while you were talking, the only thing I was thinking about is that PHA game next week, Tuesday. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me. I'm just here for the sports.
So that does it for another edition of the Panther Pack podcast. Again, follow along with us every Friday afternoon during Panther Prep. I'm not sure if it'll go out today because there's no Panther Prep since we have an early release. So if you hear this on Monday, then things might be a little bit off for a couple days, but it's okay. Make sure you check us out every Friday, Panther Prep. This is the Panther Pack podcast. Patrick and Pedro from the alumni department coming to you live, even though it's not really